Yes, there has been a lot of instances where resistance is present because of the fact that there's so much stored in our bodies, and in a way, it's actually even more vulnerable to feel that inside than to talk about it.
It's true. I agree.
Yeah, and I with my last internship, I worked with adolescents, teenagers with dual diagnosis, substance addiction, and
Wow.
mental health, and it was quite challenging working with that population. Extremely grateful for the opportunity, and I loved it actually. But yeah, it was challenging because they for this population, substance was something that they used to cope, and on for all of the experiences and trauma that they've experienced. And when you're using a substance, you're basically like covering up what's really there, right? It's
Yeah.
like a Band-Aid in a sense, where you're trying to mask that, and
Yeah, it doesn't really handle the actual cancer, so to speak.
yeah. So you're not dealing quite with the issue at hand.
Yeah.
And so with dance therapy, it's all about being in the body, and they're so used to not being in the body.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
And so that can be quite difficult. But I have seen a lot of progress, and I've seen a lot of change. And it's so rewarding seeing that. And I actually see a dance movement therapist myself.
That's cool. Like, it's not just group. I automatically thought it was group sessions, because normally, like, dancing, from our experience, has always been a group setting. I didn't even think of, like, one-on-ones.
Yes, yeah. And I was curious about that too, because I was more so leading groups than leading in like individual sessions.
Yeah.
So that actually was what sparked me to be like, what, maybe I should go see a dance movement therapist too, so I can experience that.
I want to try this
right?
too.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. But yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know, there's so much that happens in those sessions.
Yeah, because like, one thing I really like that you said, because it's like you feeling it in your body. Because one thing I love saying is, like, your body is the living subconscious, so to speak. Because we don't have to think about our heart breathing, our subconscious does it. We don't have to think about the blood flowing, our subconscious does it.
Right.
And then a lot of the things that we carry from, I don't know, trauma and all that stuff, is carried throughout the body. And then just from a lot of people who talk spiritually, but I've also talked to like therapists, it manifests one way or another. So like that's why it intrigued me, like the whole movement, because it's one thing to talk, but it's I feel like that's also us consciously talking about it, but then to take that part of the brain away and just moving it. I think that's like the gatekeeper is always our like our conscious mind versus the subconscious mind.
Yes.
Because we're always judging ourselves in a sense.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because Trudy Shoup, she's like one of the pioneers of dance movement therapy, said your body is a blabbermouth.
Huh.
And I see that all the time. It's like you can lie, and you can use your words to pretend something or be in denial, whatever it is. But like your body can't lie. Like your body's gonna do what it does.
Yeah. Body language and everything.
Yes, exactly. And just as much as there's verbal communication, there's so much in the nonverbal.
Yeah.
I think I read it somewhere that your conversations are like 20% verbal and 80% nonverbal, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, dude, like that's
actually had
so much.
I had a huge debate on someone online, because one of my popular videos is called "How to Be an Active Listener."
Yes. Yeah.
And then she's like, no, like, wrong. This whole video is wrong. Most of your talking is done verbally. But then I replied, saying that try saying "I love you" in an angry tone and saying no, versus angry saying yes in a happy tone. Mm-hmm. Then it lands differently.
Completely.
So because I remember with my ex, one of the things, just bringing up past experiences, it's like I would say like, yeah, but I did it because I love you. And it's different.
Your body's saying something else.
Body and tone.
Yeah.
Versus that's why, like, I like that because getting into our bodies and out of our heads
Right.
is, and I think that's something that I feel like we knew a long time ago
Mhm.
as humans, but then we got into this construct that not to trust our bodies, to stuff down our feelings. And now I feel like we're coming into more uh, aware state of mind.
Yes.
I feel like
yeah.
in the next 10, 20, 30 years, it's going to be self-care is going to be very important. Um, Mental health is going to be very important. I feel like it's, despite the crazy political climate right now, I feel like in the grand scheme of things, human beings are being louder in terms of trying to make good change.
Yeah.
Yeah.